Chairman, distinguished members of the jury, honorable members of the proposition, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to use this precious time I have been given to explain why I believe this dangerous motion should be rejected. I have heard so many things in this debate so far, and I believe the audience, well, at least those that are French, will agree that it was very emotional and very nice to listen to. The members of the proposition somehow managed to revive the flame of my own patriotism as a French woman, raised under the sparkling light of freedom and the still very vivid memory of the glorious revolution. Frankly, I would love to let myself believe in such a story. The French resistance did more than the US military to defeat the Nazis. How comfortable it would feel to just step onto that slippery slope and rewrite some tiny little parts of our history. How tempting to just keep our eyes shut and believe our national heroes did, as the good always does, defeat the evil forces. How lovely and how convenient. But let's get down to the earth for just 1 second. As my friends try to show all through this debate, the Frenchmen didn't win the war. Obviously, they surrendered in 1940 and set up a collaborationist government instead. Well, as for the French resistance, as Sylvain stated, there were only a handful of them when many US troops landed in Normandy. And obviously, war isn't really our thing as Frenchmen. I mean, even when we do have an army, we lose, so just think about when we just have a handful of guys fighting in the forest. Again, we're not denying the bravery of the French resistance. I would never allow myself to do this. But sometimes being brave just isn't enough. I love what Mr. Weisman said about the symbols, the fact that the resistance was more symbolic. But how do you defeat an army with just symbols? Yeah. And also, I've heard a lot about the French tactics and strategy, but I mean, you've been in our subways, you know how disorganized we are. Probably you have experienced one of our strikes, we've talked about this a lot. And as you said, well, we can't even anticipate the fact that Germans will probably go around the Ligne Maginot. I've heard also that it was too much to think that the French just sit down and waited when the Germans occupied France. Well, yeah, but it might be true actually. You said that this debate was an occasion for us to rethink our history. I think it is more a way for us, well, to rewrite it the way we want it. I've heard also about intelligence, but first, well, the British did crack the Enigma in 1944, so we did have all the intelligence we needed. Well, the US did. And what do you do with information when nobody comes to use it? If nobody had come to land on the beaches. And as for the beaches, you specified that there were only 2. Well, I thought you didn't like numbers, but it seems that numbers matter in the end, because this is what makes the difference between saying that many French resisted and 3% of our population resisted. This is a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
To defeat the Nazis in the real world, what you need is an army. You need a mighty, trained, and organized army. What you need is tanks and massive bombings. This is how it works in the real world, my friends, however harsh it might sound to our ears. Of course, as the land of freedom and popular revolution, France couldn't take such a defeat. As our Prime Minister Remy said, we needed something new to rebuild our almost dead national pride on. We couldn't just be the surrender loser of the story. We'd rather be blind and deaf and hide under the sheets, waiting for the sun to shine again. But as my friend Jules put it, France needs to wake up. I mean, it's been 70 years. We didn't win the war. We weren't perfect on this. So what? No country in the world can claim a national history full of heroes with absolutely no stain tarnishing its glory. We're talking about history, not fairy tales. So what lies around us? How can we just carry on distorting the truth, just to suit ourselves? Take the war in Algeria, take Napoleonic wars, and see how great Frenchmen are writing epics and lullabies out of massacres. We all know what kind of this revisionism leads to. It's not helping us any to move on as a people. And I believe there is more to France than just the French resistance. I believe we can still love this country for what it is and what it did bring to the world. People love us despite our bad English, our arrogance, our daily strikes, and our rather dubious hygiene standards when it comes to cheese.
Yeah.
Let us be appeased. Let us just accept the truth. Let us not blind ourselves consciously. This is why I am solemnly begging the jury to please reject this motion, so that my country can look to its past appeased and prepare for its heroic future. Thank you.